Reclaiming Timeless Ways, Mike Traster, Simon Fuller, glad to have you along with us for another episode. And Mike, in our recent episode, it was sort of a fun word. You had some caution with it. It was a fun word. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
Great word, right?
Right.
Everyone likes to hear that word.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
So I wonder what our next show is going to be about, Mike. Please.
No.
He's not telling me no. He's saying that's the title.
Or both.
Yeah. No, not going to tell you the name of this show. Right. No.
No. I'm still 2 years old. So.
Yeah, that is a fun word too, right? For the right individual. I've got a nephew.
No.
Oh, and that's his favorite word right now.
No.
Oh, yeah. He's at that sweet age.
No, he's not.
Exactly.
So, no. Just like with yes, it's like, what am I really looking at here? Mm-hmm. Right? So, like, as a parent, as a spouse, right? As a business owner, just as a person, a neighbor, a friend. First thing I wrote down is the request is too vague, which is what we've already talked about.
Right.
But it's worth saying again.
Right.
It really is, because I think everybody kind of goes on autopilot when these things come up because it's stressful. Oh, it'll be okay. It won't.
Right.
It will not be okay. You will get hosed.
Right.
Often, you know, and by people you don't expect it from. Not everybody. There are some people who have a real internal compass, moral compass, and they would never do that.
Right.
But there are others that are more pleasant with less compass.
Yeah.
You know? So they're playing on your guilt. We talked about this, using fake praise with a stranger. Bullshit references.
Right.
Right. Oh, I can't find your reference. Oh, they're on vacation.
Yeah.
They don't exist. Right.
Permanent vacation.
They're permanently. They're in Mars. They have a bad personal history of payments or words not being kept. They build you up too much to maneuver you. Are you being asked to risk too much? Right. So it's really a rehashing of the yes in the mirror image, right?
And I would say what you're wanting to kind of get to here is, in a sense, is don't be afraid to use that word.
Right.
I know as a kid we were joking at the beginning. It's
right.
one of their most fun words when they learn it. Oh,
right.
They love to use it.
Right.
Unfortunately, as we get to a certain point in our lives,
right.
It's harder to say that because it, like you said, it circles back to the yes. We trust that person, or we're puffed up by that person.
Right.
That person made us to feel good. Whatever it might be,
right.
There are situations where you should have maybe used that word, is what you're getting at here.
Right.
But don't, because
or how
of
about
those
if
reasons.
They work you in front of an audience?
Right. Put you on the spot a little bit.
Right. So my kid went through this when he was little guy in elementary school, and I remember making up a bunch of these silly songs where I would make up the most outrageous things that people would ask him for. So he would say, "No, go to hell. You can't have my leg."
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then they would tell him why they needed his leg or all of his money or his entire Lego set or whatever, and he would just have to figure out no.
Yeah.
And it was hysterical, but it also was reinforcing this thing that we really want to avoid.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people to look at us as the stingy bastard.
Right. Right.
Like, oh, Mike's a son of a bitch. He said no.
Yeah.
Huh. You know? Am I? Or am I just being a steward?
Right.
You know? So.
It's interesting too, Mike, and you might disagree with me. I'm just kind of thinking in my head how, in the last episode, I said I probably, self-reflecting, say yes in situations where I probably should have said no, whether it was financial,
sure.
time, whether it was, you name it. There are situations, big to small, where I should have probably said no.
Right.
Didn't, because of the various reasons we covered. And sometimes part of that is the lack of comfort in saying no, disappointment. You said, oh, he's stingy, he's a son of a bitch. And at the end of the day, sometimes you just need to say no.
Right, absolutely.
But I think for a guy that might struggle with that, if anybody else does,
Right.
there's a right way to say that too. And it goes back to when you were saying, ask some questions. So, Simon, can I borrow 150 bucks? Oh, Mike, what are you going to do with that?
Sure.
Well, I mean, is it something that
I
you
wanna
really
go
had a
get-
hard time?
I wanna get
well,
drunk.
I really saw this TV that I need.
Right.
Well, gosh, I don't really have that extra. I mean, if
Right.
it was going to be the difference between you eating a meal
Right.
or something, and by asking that, yeah, I mean, I'll help you out. It's not maybe easy for me right now to do that, but I will because you're in a tough spot.
Right.
But if it's because you want a TV in your garage,
Right.
I might understand better and say, well, gosh, I'm kind of. So now that becomes a no that isn't just making me look like the stingy bastard because
Right.
we have some context behind what's going on. And asking those questions, again, can open the door to maybe more readily say no.
Right. Or like I said in the earlier show, I would loan you 150 bucks, and I'd be willing to write it off if necessary. Well, now, A, that could be true, or B, I might be saying it to set you up.
Right.
Oh, now I feel an obligation to Mike because
Right.
he already said he would do it, and I can't call him a liar. What if I am a liar?
Yeah.
What if I'm maneuvering you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if I'm full of shit? And I'm not willing to loan you 150 or 50
Right.
or 10.
Right.
What if I'm just working you over?
Yeah.
So you got to know that,
Yeah.
right? Is this person smooth?
Right.
A user? Right?
Yeah, what's the track record? What's the history say? As you said, the references on the resume. I've been in plenty of interviews where it can sound really, really good for 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But how about the next 30 days when they come to work?
Right.
Does it match that resume?
And that was one thing I was actually going to ask you is how many times have you had somebody come up to you and say, I think I could do that job. And I need that job real bad. Me and my family need that job. And you're like, well, show me what you got,
Yeah.
right? Show me something.
Yeah.
I need something,
Yeah.
And what do you want in exchange and for how long?
Right.
And where's the limit?
Right.
Oh, well, I'll just grow into it and we don't need a limit. They're kind of doing, these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Right.
Like hypnosis.
Right.
And they're numbing you to your own awareness.
Right.
But should you be numb? Is that because that's part of that nice guy? It's like a trance.
Right. And like you were kind of doing, appealing to the human kindness, the Christian core, the good-natured human.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Playing that. So
Charitable.
is it genuine? Is it real, or is that, like you say, is that a maneuver?
You're a guy with a good deep heart.
Right.
Good and deep both. Yes, that's me. It's true. Noble. Those
I
are
think-
noble traits, and they're so rare. Thank God somebody still has them. What is
What does that smell like? Did you step in something outside where the puppies were?
Jumped in it repeatedly, right? So no is a good word. Or I'd like to, but I can't.
Right.
And here's why.
Yeah.
I understand that you have something that you want or need, or both, but I have some basic things I have to take care of. And for me, there's a conflict.
Yeah.
So I'm going to I hate to, but I have to say no.
Right.
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 I can give you a bag of groceries. I can't give you 150
Right.
bucks. I can put $10 worth of gas in your car. I can't give you $50.
Right.
Or I don't have 10 bucks for gas. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Let me refer you to a church.
Don't be afraid to say it. Like you said, if it's going to impact you negatively, sometimes it's the right word to use.
It's a necessary word.
Necessary
It's
word,
a
that's right.
necessary word. It's kind of like air
Yeah.
and water. No is an important word.
All right.
So the end of that one, I think, and please, you'll save yourselves years of grief if you watch these twice. And the third one, of course, we'll name when we start the third one.
I bet you can guess. So the next episode coming shortly. Yes, no, I'm assuming you'll kind of fill in the gap by now. Not real long shows, but like Mike said, necessary to make each their own, so you can watch them and rewatch them when an event happens in your life where you really need to rehear this.
These are like, there was a rule that they didn't need a lot of lifeboats on the Titanic.
Yeah.
So they didn't technically break the rule. They had enough according to the rule, but the rule sucked,
Right.
right? And so, figuring out what your rules are and your limits,
Right.
it's really important, really important.
Yeah.
So what was that third subject? We're going to make them guess.
Yep. Coming next. Thanks for joining us yet again today for an episode of Reclaiming Timeless Ways. Have a wonderful day.